finish line.
This is a race that families can't afford to lose.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
At Coolray Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, we've proudly been the leader in serving the Southeast since 1966. And nobody is more committed to delivering industry-leading excellence to the Nashville community than we are. We're number one because we've got the best and brightest HVAC technicians, plumbers, and electricians. And you can count on us 24/7, 7 days a week. Go to Coolray.com to learn more.
All right, everybody, we are back. Sorry, C2C Network, we're having a little trouble out there with the stream key, but we should be coming to you loud and clear here at this point. Pro late models went pretty well out there. Aiden Young came away with the win. Steven Spees into second, and Jeffrey Kemper nailed in that third position. Right now, I'm showing over 35 trucks locked and loaded here into the broadcast here, onto the track here at Iowa. Iowa's going to be a pretty nasty track out there, but we're going to go ahead and see what the Tim Chapman Racing Pickup Cup has lined up for us here so far. Let's take a look here at the race info, what we've got going on so far. 100 laps, 2 faster pairs, unlimited tires. Now, I do want to mention, fuel limit's going to be 50%. It's a short track, may or may not be some trouble. I would probably guess from the outside looking in, we're going to have enough cautions these guys are going to be able to top off. Whether or not when they pit is going to be the choice. 89 degrees on the track and 78 in the air. Biggest part about tonight, I think was going to catch a lot of our drivers off guard here tonight, is going to be the bumps out of turn 4 and coming out of 2. This is a throttle control heavy track. So if these guys are hard and stomping it to the floor, it's going to walk the cars around. As we heard Jeffrey Kemper saying, he just downloaded the track, so he's going to have his work cut out for him here at this point to see if he can put down some solid times out there so far. Taking actually a look here at Sean Grace out in the 27. Seeing how well he can do out there, see if he can stay calm, cool, and collected out there on the track. Let's see if we can get a solid time here. At this point, boom, let's pop that up. Let's see if we can see a little something for you out there. Sean Grace sitting right now on the pole. Dan McLaren sitting second, and Brad Wetzel into third. Everybody else shuffling in, trying to figure out if they can get any more out of that car. Definitely a lot of shuffling out there on the track. Roger Craig sitting 8th. 747 machine making the moves here. Let's see if we can get anything else. Whoa, there it is. There was the throttle control we were talking about there. Let's see Pat Boyce in the number 41. Already got his times in, setting 13th so far. Aiden Young with a fast time. To be expected. Definitely a hot shot there. He was fast in every section rather than everybody else. He didn't have just a section 1 faster, turn 1 and 2, and then the other one. All right, Stella out there. Mr. Download from last week. I do not believe so. That should not be Mr. Download. I know who you're talking about. No, I do not believe so. No. All right. There's Chris Schaefer in the 23 Chevrolet. A lot of work for him out there. Kyle Moonen was just part of the Pitside podcast out there. He'd sit in third. Let's see if Chris Schaefer can get any farther up into the top 10 here. Or at least break into the top 10, seeing that he's sitting 11th, and he does. 9th. Good speed out of him so far. Dan McLaren in the 88. Showing here actually on our ticker is the 28 machine. Going to be a little confusing out there because I believe it shows Neil Strausser here as the 88 Ford. This doesn't make any sense unless Neil Strausser has changed his car here. About another minute and a half left of qualifying here. See if we can get any more out of these cars. All right, Dan McLaren's nailed himself a sixth place starting point. Right now, I don't see anybody else. Yes, I do. Steven Goldner in the 30 Ford. See if we can pick up a little more speed here. All right, qualifying time has started. Let's see what he's got for us out there. 1 minute left to go, so he's got to nail down some solid times here. Best times are at 23 seconds, so we should be able to get both of his laps in. Steven Goldner through 3, coming out of 4. 15th. All right, a lot better than where he was planning on starting. Definitely below 30th, so let's keep going. 15th place for Goldner. See if he's got anything. 130 miles an hour coming out of the turn. Good hold. I'm trying to make that cut. All right, looks like Steven Goldner will hold it here into the 15th position. 10 seconds left. That is going to do it. That is going to be the final of our lineup here. All right, let's get ready for the Tim Chapman NASCAR Pickup Cup. Let's get ready for it. Starting grid. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Definitely looking pretty good here so far. Aiden Young will be starting in the front row here. Definitely looking fast out of that 69 Ford. So hopefully, from what I'm guessing, we may be looking at a second win for him tonight. Sean Gray sitting second. Kyle Moon in third. Zach Chapman into fourth. That puts Brad Wetzel into the fifth position. Let's see if Dan McLaren in the 88 can do any more. Timothy Chapman. All right. Look like he's rocking the Good Wrench 37 here tonight. We'll be starting seventh. Jeremy Tate in eighth. Chris Schaefer sitting ninth. And Nathan Aldrich starting 10th. That moves us back to the number one car of Joseph Canellis. Starting into the 11th. And Neil Strausser starting in the 12th position. So I know a couple of these cars kind of shuffling up here on the numbers. If I'm not mistaken, I thought Neil Strausser was number 62. All right, let's go ahead and rotate. Jim Bowie starting 13th. Jackson Lomax into 14th. With Steven Goldner sitting into the 15th position. We saw his qualifying. That's where he ends up. That rotates us back to Preston Cranmer. We see him in a lot of his car. Try getting up toward the front, but man, just seems everything works against him. And he files his way toward the back. Roger Craig starting in the 747 machine in 17th position with Jeff Sharp in 18th. So let's see how these guys get going. Last week's winner of the dog bone and the race, Roland Olson, the 48th, starting 19th. Patrick Spangler into 20th. Looks like he's rocking a Bobby Labonte scheme in the 39 Interstate battery car. Pat Boyce in the 41, starting 21st. Jacob Butcher in the 22nd. Gavin Chatham, good job. Nice to see him out here in the 23 Chevrolet, here toward the back of the field with Andy Patton sitting 24th. And we definitely, you want to talk about a stacked field here, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Continuing on, Devo starting here in the 25th position. Jeffrey Kemper, Mr. Download, we'll call him tonight, here into the 181, starting 26th with John Rayner. Starting 27th with Matthew Robinson into 28th. We'll see if that 15 truck can get his way up there. Definitely not a good start for Matthew Robinson here. He's got a long way to go. Gary Sigelkow starting in 29th with Barry Goldner into 30th. Man, oh man, a lot of fast drivers unusually starting here from the back. I know Brandon Ishkanya and Dustin Renstedel are starting in the in race control toward the top, so these guys shouldn't be out there on the track. So we'll see them kind of shuffle their way through, which puts us with Robert Lynch here in the 121. Man, that's a dang good looking logo on that truck, on that 121. Instead of he's out of the black truck and into that color, liking it. With Terry Landis starting in the 31st position. All right, now I also have Bill Calder and Richard Holland, but I am not showing locked and loaded and on the track. So these guys may be disconnected here. So far what I've got is 32 drivers on the track. That's going to look pretty good for us here so far. Good to see Robert Lynch out here. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get us back to the front here. Sean Grace and Aiden Young are going to be taking us away in our front row. Iowa Speedway, 100 laps. Now, normally I ask our viewers out there to kind of give me a good guess out there, kind of, who you might think would come away with the win. I'm not going to ask you guys to probably about that three-quarter mark because this is going to be a brawl. This is going to be a shootout here toward the end here, and we're going to have to see what we've got coming into this one. Yeah, interested to see actually Bob Light not out here either, so I may have to get a hold of Bob Light. He actually won the Thursday night, but he won trucks last round. That is a good point, and we'll get to the chat here in just a moment. Looks like Pace Car is still staying out on the track for one more lap here. out there in the track. Sometimes I wonder if how many drivers purposely qualify poorly to stay out of potential mix-up with the intention of fighting their way through it later on. You know, that's a heck of an idea. This track does, this league actually comes with 2 faster pairs, so if the bleeding happens, it can continue. It has a decent incident limit. I believe 24 is where we're at. So these guys can definitely make contact. They're going to kind of, crash a bang a boom bama, and then we're kind of see how many guys end up mashing each other all to pieces here. But I'm hoping for a clean race here. A much shorter track. We're finding a lot more luck. Out here at the shorter tracks. I think some of these guys get in that super speedway, mindset coming out of the dirt that you can't make herky-jerky moves. This one is this is a track that can tolerate that, but if they hit that bump the wrong way, we're going to see a lot of guys slinging into the infield the same way that we saw Roger Craig during his qualifying. So let's go ahead and get the green flag underway here. Sean Grace has got to be careful about passing that line first. So far, Aiden Young getting through the turn here. We'll kind of move our way toward the back because I know this is where it's going to start. Here we go. Dan McLaren, eyeballs on him. First wreck. Boy, that's not good. Look at Robert Lynch back there. You see, it's just better just to stop. It's better just to stop. Alrighty, and that's definitely what we were talking about. A little bit of that throttle control here, and that's exactly what ended up happening from there on out. Let's take a look at it from the top here. You see Dan McLaren gets a little bit of that draft behind Zach Chapman here, and it just lets go. 43 machine of Brad Wetzel had to be nervous. The 37 of Tim Chapman actually busted loose too. 37 of Tim Chapman got sent around. Boy, and they just, guys, can't turn into a bulldozer here. We ain't got enough time to repair for that. So a lot of cars are going to be defunct there. Look at Terry Landis. Nowhere to go. He's, oh man, I came to a stop, but now what? Jeffrey Kemper may be broken right there. Yeah, I would say looking from the top here at Chapman. I think Chris Schaefer rolls up into him here. Man, just got nowhere to go on some of these. Nowhere to go. All right, that's going to start slicing off some of these guys' faster pairs out here. Definitely from the back. If you're talking about guys, not qualifying to at least get in a safe spot there toward the back, I would say, yeah, that might be an idea. Drivers, Robert Lynch, he's up in the 18th spot. He's already moved 15 spots up just from that last tangle up. Gary Sigelkow up 10. I mean, so a lot of these guys who were in the back are now going to shift their way toward the front. We'll see if any of these guys end up some laps down here. Right now, it's showing me, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, actually, I think Patrick Spangler on back is a lap down here. Yeah, Spangler, Lomax, Chapman, Tate, Robinson, and Boyce are down pit. I don't know if Jeffrey Kemper had to tow. Well, Jeffrey Kemper and Andy Patton are down pit road at this point. Looks like there's still some action there in Andy Patton's pit stall. But we'll keep an eye out there to see if any of this kind of changes here at this point. If any of these guys can keep an eye on that race control locked and loaded ready. Pace car lights are still surprisingly on. See if the pace car lights go off, because I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to get this back under green. I don't think most of our drivers out there would like to run 100 laps under yellow. Maybe a safer way. Alright, out there in the stat. That's some of the drivers who are regularly sliding around should invest in a slip sense system or that kind of feedback. Those systems of slip sense or G sense are definitely a lot of money for those kind of systems, especially if they got a more expensive rig. It is possible. I think Logitech, Fanatec, these guys do a pretty good job of letting the steering go first, and they kind of have to depend on their eyes to see the truck actually rotating in front of you or the deal. But I see what you're saying out there. It's kind of give you a second hint here instead of just your visuals, because at that point it's probably too late. But Aiden Young, not too late on the restart this time, gets squeezed away. That may allow Kyle Moonen here on the inside to slide underneath Sean Grace in the Toyota. Let's go and rotate here in that Preston Cranmer area, see if the top 10 can stay alive. Turn 1 and 2 down. I see John Rayner getting a little loose there toward the back of the 302. See if we can keep anything left going here. Definitely you don't want to take it. It's a kind of a one-line track here, here at Iowa. It's definitely odd to get through. Definitely slicing through. Back here with Devo. Devo up his 12 positions into 13th now. If I'm not mistaken, that should be Devo running Isaac Salas' number 5 number. Looks like it's staying here. So far, so good. Kyle Moonen seeing if he can put a little pressure here on Sean Grace. Aiden Young has fallen back to 3rd. Now, interesting to see some out of some of these. Right now, I think one of... I got a driver down pit road at this point. Matthew Robinson is down pit. So back to the pits for him. So we may be dealing with either a technical issue or that truck is just not rotating the way he would like. All right, still rotating around the track here. Sean Grace, Kyle Moonen. 1 and 2 at this point. Kind of interesting. I actually want to kind of rotate while we have a second here. Let's see if we can check out Sean Grace kind of making the pass here for the lead. Let's see what kind of happened to Aiden Young here. Yeah, I guess Aiden Young just didn't have that turn. All right. Let's go ahead and get back live here. So far, Sean Grace in the Toyota. Kyle Moonen sitting in the Chevrolet. Tire wear will be a factor here at this track. Right front is crucial. Yeah, from experience, looking from the outside, kind of from the outside in the booth looking in, Kyle Moonen has actually the more preferred line here. Kind of dropping a little bit lower, while you do see the 27 of Sean Grace hanging toward the top. I don't know how well that will do for his tire wear, but we are back under caution here. And I don't know if we had a little trouble back here with the number 25 machine of Gary Sigelkow. I know Gary's been doing a lot of practice out here. Hopefully, not too bad. Looks like he's got some damage to the left side of that truck. I'll go ahead and rotate it back here and figure out what happened to Gary Sigelkow. Let's take a look. Oh, Jeffrey Kemper on the inside. Oh, man, not again. Up the track. Boom. Definitely not how Gary wanted his night to go here. Let me see if we can rotate that one back just a little bit here. Take another look. Clink. Yep, just got him turned around. Man, oh man, oh man. Hate to see it. Alright. 2 cautions. Gary Sigelkow is now back down to 24th here. I will admit he is up 5 positions from where he started here. But pit stall times are now starting to run up at this point. Neil Strauss and Jeff Sharp are down pit road. If I'm not mistaken, Jeffrey Kemper is down pit road as well. And Matthew Robinson in the 15 Ford, he is going to be down some laps here. He had a 47-second pit stall time. He's now sitting back here in the 32nd position. He's got a long way to go. If this thing ends up in any kind of a caution clash-up that we've seen last week between the Xfinity and the trucks, he may be able to get back onto the lead lap, but we hope the best for Mr. Robinson. All right, rotating back toward the front. Really interesting to see Aiden Young fall off the way he did, not having really that preferred line. I think he wanted to rotate lower, but Kyle Moonen had the line. So let's see what we can do out there in the chat. Looks like Michael Bennett is here, kind of rooting for Matt. Michael, out there in the chat, man, definitely Matthew Robinson got in a tangle up here early in the race. I think it was about an 8 to 10 car pileup, and I think he just ended up being one of the last cars trying to see if he could squeak through. Front end of his car got pretty banged up there, but he is still going to have a shot out there. Paint scheme may be failing him here tonight. All right. Let's see how he does out here so far. Biggest mover of the race. Terry Landis up 18 positions here so far, sitting 16th. So looking good so far out of him. And actually, somebody who's being pretty quiet out there as well. Preston Cran in the 07. I think he's just trying to kind of play it nice and safe. Trying to keep that 07 Chevrolet out front. Still within contention here. And feeling pretty solid, but we'll see if he can still maintain at this point. So got a lot of driving left here to do out of all these cars. But already out there looking at our standings here so far, just a quick overview. Roland Olson, I did tell you guys that won last week. Gavin Chatham is sitting second with Sean Grace. So these two guys right now, per the points, is showing tied for second place. I don't know if they're doing a point system here for qualifying at a higher position. But we'll see if we can get that squared away. We've got a bunch of drivers that are tied up. Chatham and Grace for second. We got Preston Cranmer and Matthew Robinson tied for fifth. And Jackson Lomax and Kyle Moonen tied for ninth. And that's only after one race. So definitely something to look at here. I don't know if it's just me. If we're out running the pace car here at this point, I think a few extra caution laps here. All right. Pace car lights are off. You know what that means. Kind of rally cap and get ready to see these guys double stack here. And get their way back out onto the track and really start putting some solid times down here. I want to see some good set of qualifying laps. If you guys want to tune in to C2C tomorrow, Lincoln Speedway is where you're going to find the Coolray Hometown Heroes. They should be running the 305, the 360 division, and the 410s. Should be there on Extreme Speed TV. Out there with Travis Piercefield. I hope everything got squared away with his mic. That way we can hear his beautiful voice over the broadcast at C2C Racing Network. All right, turn 4. This should be the final run here. Sean Grace going to go ahead and pull away with this one. Away he goes. Green flag is out. 6-9 machine of Aiden Young fell asleep just a little bit at the wheel there. And is now falling back down to 4th. 27 getting the preferred line he would like up toward the top, but let's see how that goes. Definitely looking good here so far. Michael Bennett out there in the chat. I know you've raced here at Iowa. What did you find to be the hardest part here at Iowa? Let's see what you guys think out there. So far, Zachary Chapman sitting 5th, but not for long. He'll be hanging out for 5th for probably about 3 or 4 more laps here as we're back under caution. All right, rotating up top. It says right now in my ticker, this was Timothy Chapman was in this one, but if you actually see kind of farther in front of him, this actually creates a lot more than it did before. You actually see Gary Sigelkow is actually kind of getting turned here. Sigelkow got sent around. Here's Matthew Robinson, the 15. Let's see if he gets rear-ended. Yep, he gets hammered there by the 87, which slams Robinson into the 25. And Tim Chapman's around. Yeah, 87 of Andy Patton. Both him, Andy Patton and Robinson were down pit road there for a little while, and Kemper as well, as these guys are trying their best to, I guess, keep this one as clean as possible at this point. Yeah, actually, let me see if we can find something of Gary Sigelkow here. And let me see if I can actually... Let's take a look out the back here. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. I like that. Let's take a look out of the back of Gary Sigelkow's truck here. And I want to take a peek and see what happens. Half speed from the inside. Yep, just kind of shot the gap there. 31 machine. Yeah, Jeff Sharp just got into him there. And that just kind of sent Gary back up the track. And there's nothing really Gary can do at this point. He's just kind of getting slung around here. Oof. Patrick Spangler with a nice little pop there right there at the end. Alright, trying to see if I can find us a little bit different, different view of this to see if I can see anything else that's a little funny out of this one. Kind of looking from the back of Neil Strauss's truck. Yeah, and you just kind of see him just continue to pile up here. Neil Strauss are able to squeak away from that one. Dan McLaren saw the whole thing as well. Alright, let's take a look at it. Dan McLaren's angle. See the 31 kind of get in the back of the 25 there. Boop. And around he goes. Whew. Man, oh man. 31 seemed to survive, though. Down pit road, the 31's going, though, right there at the end of that one. Alright, well, we'll see how the rest of this race goes here. Definitely some trouble so far early on here in this race. Definitely want to keep an eye out there and see if any of these guys can kind of square this one away and push their way back to the front. You know, I know we got some guys shuffling. Biggest mover, Terry Landis, still up 21 positions in his Toyota, sitting 13th. I would admit I would like to see guys kind of pushing and passing here to get kind of making these passes under green and making the moves rather than kind of people totaling themselves out. But Sean Grace is going to take us to another restart here, a quarter of the way through the race. Lap 25 is underway. Sean Grace seeing if he can push out. Right now, battle already heating up between Kyle Moonen and Brad Wetzel. Brad Wetzel gives a little nudge to the 24 Hooters truck. Kyle Moonen, two Chevrolets, second and third, battling out here. Contact. Yep, that was going to happen. Kyle Moonen, great job keeping it there. Huge checkup. Wow. Yeah, Kyle Moonen's got to be about eating his mic here at this point, as he's got to be in his ear. Brad Wetzel gets away from that one. He seems to survive, stays in the second. So Vanderbilt Racing going to have to drop back and punt here at this point and see if he can fight his way back toward the front. And right now, single file so far. Joseph Canellis here battling with, guess who? Preston Kramer in the 07. We want to give a shout out there to Tim Chapman, who was able to show up. I believe Zach was saying that his dad was a little sick. Glad to see the 37 truck back out here. But I think Tim is actually down a couple of laps here due to some on racing incidents. We are keeping an eye here on that front runner of Joseph Canellis. You see 2 trucks back is Kyle Moonen. Not liking hanging behind Devo here. Trying to see if he can get it going. Devo swinging toward the top, back down toward the bottom. Let's see if they got anything for us. Definitely the 5 taking a peek, backs up the turn. Wow. Yeah, a lot of driving skill, and you can tell the guys that didn't qualify are sure wishing they had. They're trying to push their way around the track here. No problem so far, Donovan Ross. Now, I bet you Devo's trying to, save these tires at this point, because that is one thing you don't want to do, is to fry these tires off so soon in the race. I know most of them have been just about under caution at this point, but the separation and the heat cycling on these tires, it's going to kind of play a different heat-up pattern here. Kyle Moonen shoots down toward the bottom of Robert Lynch here. Robert Lynch hanging top line. He's going to realize it's bumpier up there than anywhere else. Definitely do pretty well out here. Iowa has kind of been juggling with shutdown here recently in the actual NASCAR runs. I know they're paving Rockingham at this point, but this would be a track I would like to see paved. Try to get some of those bumps out there. Hopefully I can kind of get everything squared away. I know Iowa, they kind of messed around with the seating here and there, trying to figure out if they needed to add extra seats, get rid of seats. Some people were kind of not showing up because of Kansas. Is so close to them, so it definitely plays up on that. Kind of on how the future of the Iowa track. But fortunately, iRacing has gone out there, scanned this track, and this is as up to date as it gets. Robert Lynch with a quick switch up here into 11th. Let's see, contact. There he goes. 99's around. Gavin Chatham is around again here. Lock it down, dude. There we go. And that's exactly how you avoid the rest of a wreck. Everybody else knows where you are. Oh, Gary! Gary, you were good. Look at the lines, bud. You were good. Oh, and they made contact. Oh, man. Never gets old. All right. Let's take another look at it here from the top end here and see if Robert Lynch doored him here just a little bit. All right, let's look at it from the top. Get it full speed. We'll slow it down when we get there. Robert Lynch shoots the gap. I saw a little bit of this from a different league. Clink, right there. Yeah, it looks like Robert Lynch just got into the turn just a little too hot there. Robert Lynch gets away. As Stella saying out there, just like the highway, seems the guy, the one who walks away is the one who caused the accident. All right. That'll do it for that one. This is the one that gets me, Gary. Right here. Watch this. Everything's A-okay. Waters are calm. Here it comes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, both of you. All right. Got to have fun with it here at Iowa. Definitely not easy. I know these guys are trying their best to get this squared away and kind of calm down the pit, kind of calm down the race here, get everything squared away. Finally getting some laps in. But now pit road is heating up, so now we're going to figure out who stays out and who comes down pit. Right now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're taking a look at Chris Schaefer in the 23 Chevrolet. And then we'll see the rush off of pit lane where they end up. Boom, boom, boom. There's our race leader. Looks like he'll be actually dialing back here a little bit. Sean Grace now bad down to the 9th position. A few drivers that have been some lap downs did stay out. Drivers that did stay out, Patrick Spangler stayed out. Neil Strausser stayed out as well. If I'm not mistaken, Jim Bowie stayed out. We saw the 15 of Matthew Robinson stayed out. Jeffrey Kemper stayed out. Yeah, so a lot of these guys just trying to see if they can squeak their laps back by not pitting. Most of these guys have already pit earlier. Patrick Spangler actually had to pit on lap 1, so he was in the first tangle up, you saw it. But Neil Strausser, he's out there, but he last pit on lap 20. So I think he pit much later than Patrick Spangler out there. But Jim Bowie did not. He did not pit, and he hasn't pit all race. So we'll see what that does for him out here. I know out there looking kind of at it and seeing that we are getting some green flag laps down. We'll see if they decide to stay racing double wide here. Try to see if we can bring a little more peace onto the track. It did seem to spread out there pretty well, except around the Kyle Moonen area. Got to admit, Kyle Moonen was kind of getting mashed up there. And having a hard time kind of picking out an area, as he was definitely getting squeezed at this point. Pace car lights are still on here. And hopefully we'll kind of see the wave around here, get these guys going. Yeah, I would say, I think for some of them, racers like Jackson Lomax right now, I think he's back down pit road again. I guess a couple extra caution laps here. This is definitely going to help him out. Come down here and get that truck squared away a bit. Jackson Lomax right now sitting 23rd. Alright, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Jackson Lomax may be our last driver there on the lead lap here at this point. See if any of these other guys, what happens here at this point. Double stacking. Patrick Spangler will be a new race leader here. A few of the drivers did get some wave rounds out there. They've already shuffled, yep, to the back of the pack. A long way left to go with this one here at Iowa. Let's see if Patrick Spangler can do what he did in the 305, 360, and the 410 division. Now let's see how he does in the pickup cup. Away he goes, another restart here. Definitely lap 39, and the 39 is out front. Staying solid so far. See a little bit of movement out of Roland Olson here in the back, and now we got some guys bunching up. Not looking good here. The 058 of Jim Bowie on the bottom. Jim Bowie's one of the guys I told you is yet to pit. So you're going to start seeing him sliding around here, definitely after about, 18 laps under green. Some of these guys have decided to come down and start getting some tires. Sean Grace into 5th. Seeing if he can work inside. Trying to put a little pressure there on Zach Chapman. Nothing yet. Aiden Young slicing to the bottom. See if he can regain the lead that he had earlier in the race. Away he goes. High spot for Neil Strausser tonight, sitting 3rd. Contact with the wall. Patrick Spangler. Definitely already had some damage to the front and the right side of that truck. He adds a little more. Zach Chapman in the wall. There's the bump out of 4, and he felt it. Definitely slinging around the track here, having some trouble. But, man, once again, another lifeline for these guys here in the top 5 as we're back under caution. Dan McLaren is in this one. Dan McLaren having to take it immediately 2 pits. I don't know if he will return here on the track. We'll see. All right, let's see if we can take a look at it. Topside, Dan McLaren looks like he's behind the 121 of Robert Lynch here. Let's go. Yeah, Dan McLaren looked like trying to see if he could push here. Oh, back up. Oh, no. Yeah, and he had to tow after that one. Yep, that's it, because he's stuck on his side. Yeah, originally it looked like Dan McLaren was actually trying to push here. He looked like he was trying to push the 121 machine, but a quick buck here from the 61. That should be actually Terry Landis there. A quick checkup here, and that's what ended up causing the rest of this tangle up. Yeah, you can see his hands on the wheel. Mudge just a little bit to the right, and it sent him. And Joseph Canellis got hammered into it as well. Up, up, and away. You'd think that contact with Pat Boyce, that would have sent him back around there. Definitely an odd way to get sent into the atmosphere there a bit, and then land on your side after getting hammered by the 41 underneath. So, definitely interesting. Interesting kind of what the programmers of this fine service that we're watching here. Now, guys, if you're looking to join along with us here, I say if you're looking to join kind of with the Coast to Coast Racing League, you can go to c2crl.com and see what we can do there. Jeffrey Kemper, we talked to him before. Woes continue for him, sitting 27th. Dan McLaren still sitting down pit road at this point. After that tow, I know normally towing takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes, so we'll see if that car slaps back down and gets back on the track. Saw a little something happening here. Hopefully we see the return of Dan McLaren. All right, Sean Grace moving up to the 4th position. Zach Chapman into 3rd. Neil Strausser, he's up 10 positions. In the 2nd, and Aiden Young has regained the lead that he had earlier. Started on the pole, now back in 1st. Seemed to be doing A-OK at this point, but pit stop time is actually changing again. We got Roland Olson actually coming down, and Jim Bowie are coming down as well. Might be a good idea for some of these drivers to come in, go ahead and get it done. You know, let's go ahead and slap some fuel in it, and you might make it to the end. Mistaken, that should be a lucky dog here toward the top. Maybe, maybe not. Whoop. I might be wrong. 30 machinist Stephen Goldner. Looked like he was just ready to line up double file before everybody else was. I thought he was a lucky dog working his way around there. But it looks like Stephen Goldner and Kyle Moonen have caught back up with each other. The only person they're missing out here is Brendan Lacey. Yeah, interesting to see Aiden Young. I don't know what he's doing here. I know I always try to talk to Aiden Young a little bit every once in a while. See if he tries to play a little bit of these mind games here. Gotta mess with people. Definitely get in their head before you want to get restarted. Definitely gives you the advantage. All right. Take a look here. Nathan Aldrich in the 514. See if we can get anything going here. For all our adults out there, let's see what got going on there. All right. Take a look at it from the outside. At least Chris Schaefer sitting here in 9th. Started 9th, in 9th. Brad Wetzel's in 5th, sitting 5th. Started 5th, sitting 5th. Aiden Young starting on the pole, still sitting 1st. All right, let's get back underway. I want to see some green flag laps here. Let's go. Aiden Young going to take us to it. Away we go again. Zach Chapman finally getting his break here. Champion of the Xfinity, but he wants to take the trucks this year. right, 1 and 2 here at this point. Now it's going to start heating up between Brad Wetzel and Neil Strausser. Let's see if they can do anything at this point. Nothing but trouble here in the back. I'm starting to see some mashing up. 27 machine makes a gutsy move. Sean Grace toward the bottom. And away he goes. 43 got way nasty into that turn, and 27 gets it. Neil Strausser getting tangled up here. Kyle Moonen, huge checkup. Man, great driving and heads-up driving by these guys here out of the front. Just kind of seeing a problem and rotating. Seeing a problem and rotating. And that's exactly what you see here. Kyle Moonen rotating toward the top. Dangerous on the outside. I know they say that about Darlington. Don't go the outside of turn 4. But I wouldn't go the outside of turn 4 here at Iowa. That just seems to be the danger zone. No one can seem to get away from the things that are just the impending doom. Now, Sean Grace still on a charge here. Now getting ready to take down Zach Chapman here for the second place. Back and forth here. 72 and the 27. Oh, Zach Chapman way backs up the turn there. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he let off or he tapped the brakes. But it looked like he let the 27 truck go by him here. And now it's going to allow Brad Wetzel to get around. Zach Chapman with a run off of 4. Kyle Moonen to follow. Right now, top 5 looking pretty good here. Kyle Moonen, after a nasty tangle up there earlier, got sent to the back. And right now, he's next to Wetzel again. Wetzel's the one who made contact with him to begin with. So these two side by side once again. Hopefully it goes a lot better, but it looks like battle for the lead. Sean Grace taking a peek to the inside of the 69 machine, Aiden Young. Interesting to see Aiden Young taking that 3/4 track area and rotating and staying here toward the top. 27, like I said, may have that more preferred line, kind of drop it, but don't get down to the yellow line. 27 doing a great job at that. Kyle Moonen has gotten 3rd. Zach Chapman into 4th. Brad Wetzel now falling back to 5th, and Aiden Young is in the process of losing the lead here. I believe Sean Grace in the Red Bull Toyota is going to get it. Aiden Young not happy about that cutoff, and he slides underneath. Aiden Young's got to be careful. We're not in the dirt, so traction will matter here. Aiden Young toward the bottom, turn exit. He gets a little taste of his own medicine here as Sean Grace uses the outside line and keeps his pace. Aiden Young will be chasing here, rotating back to Stephen Goldner, who's actually watching Chris Schaefer kiss it off the wall, heading into 1. Definitely good separation by most of our drivers here. Not a problem. Everybody seems to kind of be playing follow the leader at this point. Stephen Goldner taking a peek on the inside of Chris Schaefer, who got a little mixed up a lap ago. Now to the inside, the number 30 goes. Stephen Goldner, 9 positions, and still charging. Boy, nasty cutoff again. And I think that's what we're starting to notice here is the kind of a trend. Guys rotating back up the track, and the guy with the run is not willing to check up. Slides toward the inside and continues going. Good job so far. Got some green flag laps under our belt. Now everybody can start feeling out everybody's race line here. Zach Chapman on the bottom of now Stephen Goldner, who just took that spot away. Yeah, Zach Chapman kind of on the march back here. As he's now down to 6th, now to 7th. Chris Schaefer on the inside. Zach Chapman going to see if he can keep the 23 at the bottom. But Zach Chapman will have the run off this turn. Sean Grace has the lead. But Kyle Moonen has taken 2nd place away from Aiden Young. And now Aiden Young's going to start the march back, which we saw earlier in the first half of the race. Biggest mover of the race is Robert Lynch. We talked a little bit about him tonight. Right now, that 121 is up 24 positions here so far. Seeing if he can get 25 here with Nathan Aldridge. Definitely patience has been paying off for him so far and good wreck avoidance. Taking a look at Robert Lynch, seeing if he can take a look on the inside. This looks a lot familiar what we saw last time. See if the 121 can shape it up a little better. Slides in front of the 514. Aldrich saw that one coming. Lets off the gas, turns left, slides underneath of him, and that's going to be time wasted here. But Robert Lynch says otherwise. A little more gas to the front, to under the hood of Robert Lynch and his 121 Chevrolet, and he seems to maintain 8th place here, and he's going to try to stay in front of the 514 as long as he can. Yeah, good moves by everybody here on the track so far. They're kind of bunching up in clutches of 2 here. Zach Chapman, Chris Schaefer rotating up front to Brad Wetzel and Stephen Goldner here. And Aiden Young is kind of watching Kyle Moonen drive off of this one here. Kyle Moonen is gone, and Sean Grace just definitely, I don't see anything stopping that 27 Toyota at this point. He's got that thing on a rail. Let's check back here, see how Preston Kramer and Joseph Canellis are doing. I know we got a good bunch of trucks back here. Terry Landis as well. If I'm not mistaken, that should be the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper back there. I believe Jeffrey Kemper's down a lap or so. So far, he's moved up, at least up here with the 14th and 15th place guys. But he, with some tangle-ups there, it's just causing more and more problems. Trying to see if they can get anything going. Gary Sigurkow sitting 17th. Sitting right behind Tim Chapman in the 37. Behind him is John Rader in the 302. Let's see if they can get it going here. So far, so good. Tim Chapman working on the outside of the 63 machine. 63, that being Jeremy Tate. Jeremy Tate sporting a Toyota out there here tonight, seeing if he can get his way around. No issues here so far. All right. Solid green flag laps. I like seeing it. All right, let's start rotating our way back toward the front here a little bit. But first, let's watch Joseph Canellis. Joseph Canellis ended up in some tie-ups here. Right now, he's still sitting on the lead lap. At this point, following behind Preston Cranmer, who's in the 07 Chevrolet. Not too shabby here. Nathan Aldrich has fallen victim to Patrick Spangler, who's on the move. He's up 11 positions here so far. Patrick Spangler, last pit on lap 43, so his tires are much fresher than some of the cars he's running up on here. Right now, he has the freshest tires out of the top 10. And it's showing at this point. Right now, Patrick Spangler's last lap of a 24.98, Schaefer with a 25.25. So already got about a quarter of a second gap here, and let's see if he starts putting on some faster times here. Patrick Spangler, another move there. Whoa, man, Robert Lynch. Robert Lynch driving that car like he stole it here at this point. Slides to the bottom in a very aggressive manner. Then trying to take see if he can get some fresh air out from the behind of Zach Chapman. Jack Chapman might be in a little trouble here, as Robert Lynch is looking toward the inside. Robert Lynch has got the gap slide in behind him for the draft, but Chris Schaefer sees and moves. So Patrick Spangler getting jammed up here with a new set of tires, but no room to run. Robert Lynch and Chris Schaefer make contact here. And after this battle is over, I want to rotate up to the front because it looks like Kyle Moonen has caught Sean Grace, but only down by a quarter of a second off of him at this point. Jackson Lomax is heading back down pit again. The 96 Toyota is just having nothing but trouble here, but he may be trying to outpit the rest of the field here. Stella out there in the chat rooting on Robert Lynch, and we got our eyeballs on here as he's still trying to battle for 6th place. Definitely got the shot here. Robert Lynch had a really fast time in the super late models, but he's definitely trying out the trucks. And that should actually be Terry Landis at the bottom. Terry Landis last pit on lap 65, so go ahead and let that car go by. Landis is a lap down or so here. So Robert Lynch has gotten his way up there. Kyle Moonen into the lead, but I wouldn't say by passing Sean Grace, because he did, but Sean Grace is down pit road at this point, so it wasn't just driving around him here at this point, from what I'm seeing. Yeah, pit road is starting to light up here a little bit. Kyle Moonen trying to figure out there may be something happening here, so he's going to come down pit road as well. All right, that's going to move our guys up a couple positions here. Aiden Young back into the lead. Stephen Goldner sitting second and Robert Lynch third. Looks like Aiden Young is going to try to see if he can put the 15 car of Matthew Robinson down another lap here. as Matthew Roberts is trying his best to save his race. 5 laps down that 15 machine is, and you can't be happy about that, especially when it was ruined so early in the race. These guys are going a lot better here at this point, getting some time out there on the track. For some of these drivers who show up both Tuesday and Thursday, they're going to have a better, have another angle at it. Oh, no, but Aiden Young pitting now, and caution is out. Hopefully Aiden Young can get in and out of the pits here fast enough before we end up in any sort of a tangle up and putting Aiden Young a lap down here. Now, I can probably guess what happened here. Let's take a look at Sean Grace here, actually in the 27, who was a race leader there for a little while. Let's see what the 27 does. Gets the inside of the 43, tries to rotate. Oh, new tires. New tires have grip, but you gotta let them heat up. 27 might be down on engine power here. Fastest driver here of the night. Might be limping it at this point. If I'm not mistaken, taking a look here at Sean Grace in the 27 truck. Looks like he had to tow here. So our race leader, so fast all night, that's going to cost him. So a lot of drivers coming down probably for their final pit stop, seeing that we have reached 75 out of 100 here. Going pretty well there for the good center section. Hopefully it stays clean to the end. Looking good here so far. That's going to definitely shuffle our field up here. Yeah, Zach Chapman showing in the lead here at this point, but he might be thinking twice. Zach Chapman back down pit road here. He did have a 7-second pit stop time last time Zach Chapman was in here. But he's deciding against it, coming back down pit. So that's going to refile our guys back up here. Aiden Young regains the lead. And it's showing me Robert Lynch in second. 31 positions right now for Robert Lynch. Awesome job here by Robert. Awesome job here. So, and if you guys want to tune in to SimTracksBroadcasting.com, you can actually find the replays of previous broadcasts I've done. If you guys want to check out Robert Lynch and the last race of the Graceland Shootout Series. It was the first time in my broadcasting career that I've had 3 generations out there onto the track. He was out there, his son was out there, and then his grandson was out there on the track all at the same time. And I've never, I've seen like a father-son duo, but I've never seen all 3. So awesome job. And Robert Lynch kind of tried to come out on top on that one. But that was a heck of a run there at the end. I believe Billy Stanley won that race there at Daytona. So, gonna go ahead and get our guys lined up. You see a bunch of cars out there in front of Aiden Young here so far. That's to be expected. Some of these guys trying to get their laps back. So they should go ahead and get their wave arounds. Aiden Young will get double file behind them when the pace car passes the line again. He's gonna double stack on this one. That should be Neil Strausser there in the 88 machine. And we're seeing in the front of Aiden Young we're riding along with here yet again. Aiden Young definitely has that car on a roll here. Man, look at that. He's even got his helmet painted. Let's take a look at him. Man, look at that. Not bad. Give a good shout out there for the Young Gun Creations. All right. See if most of our drivers get kind of waved around here. We should double stack here at this point. So, lot of drivers out here going to kind of have to figure out fresh tires. This should be, to me, if I, out here racing, unless I end up in a tangle up here. The last set of tires these guys are going to put on. Top this thing off on fuel and really give it that last 25 lap shootout here for the end. Right now, the top 19 are on the lead lap. Pace car is off. Aiden Young, Robert Lynch, front row. Let's see how they get it done. Let's see if Chris Schaefer in the 23 gives Robert Lynch a little pop right there. Away they go. Chris Schaefer on the bottom. He's got the line. He's hooked it. All right, but don't count out Robert Lynch just yet. Patrick Spangler now into fourth. Oh, rotate up. He's got to be careful. Nathan Aldrich. He sees it and rotates up. Stays out of the way. Good job. Caution. Jeffrey Kemper's involved. Dang. All right, I was kind of hoping everything would go a lot smoother on that one. I know some trouble happened, but we'll see if this is actually fault of Kemper here. Let's take a look at the 181 car. Oh, Timothy Chapman in the 37. Kemper tries to stomp on the brake. Terry Landis sees it happen. Goldner into the back of him. Oh, and he comes back down the track. There's Rob. Roger sees it. Oh, man. Who I saw have to make about 3 adjustments on this one. I've got to take a ride here with Kyle Moonen here. He had to make about 3 adjustments to stay out of the way of this one. Let me see if we can roll this back. Kyle Moonen here. Oh. And then it keeps going up farther up. That's Gold, the 36 machine. That's Barry Goldner. Holy cow. Yeah, taking a look there. That was Kyle Moonen. We took a little ride with along there. Definitely, it does not get much easier for some of these guys trying to get back their way to the front. It's just not happening at this point. They can't seem to get where they need to be. They can't seem to find that clear area here to find that opening. Now, I didn't know if the 37, I think probably what happened is a new set of tires, the same way we saw what happened with Sean Grace. So we'll see how that goes. Interesting enough, Matthew Robinson coming back down pit again. And we've been talking a little bit about him tonight in that 15-4 back down pit here. Jeffrey Kemper is down pit as well, spending a good amount of time in this pit stall. We'll see if he ends up into the garage here. Some of our other drivers out there, Dan McLaren has taken to the garage. Donovan Ross, Jeff Sharp, Andy Patton. These guys have all gone to the garage here so far. We'll see if what continues here. Jeffrey Kemper is down pit road still at this point. I'm not seeing anything solid out of the 181 machine, but we'll see if he can survive and get back out there. Give it another run. All right, out there in the chat, Jeff Kemper, he used all his fast repairs. You are done. Oh, man. Yeah, I was going to say, man, you just download this one. Iowa is a tough track, man. It's hard to cope with, and some of it, like I said, some of it isn't your fault. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, it depends. It depends on who you are. I'm not saying it's you, Jeff. It's Iowa's such a weird track. And so, I think people try to kind of weigh this track more against Richmond. being that's more that kind of D-shaped oval kind of situation. But the bumps are just an absolute killer here, and just not getting any break, especially on that track temperature. It's at least 78 degrees, but it's not looking too solid here so far. But I've heard that a lot of people out there in the chat. Jeffrey Kemper, you will be ready for the Xfinity. Definitely you'll need the practice for that one for sure. As you know, some of these other guys are seeing that it's catching a lot of guys off guard here. The bumps, the way the tires are handling. And kind of as you're rotating out of 4, the truck, you just feel like all the weight puts it all right into the passenger seat. And these guys are just having a hard time keeping it wrangled in. But only 15 to go when we get to the line. Left in this one. I know Matthew Robinson was telling me as well he'll do a heck of a lot better in the Xfinity run. I would tend to agree with everybody out there who's having a bad night. But there's no saying is it going to be a bad night on Thursdays. Travis Piercefield will be with you guys in the Xfinity Series. You'll be joining him there. He'll be excited to call that race for you guys. Definitely, I was there last Thursday. It was looking pretty solid. Bob Light turned into a laser beam on that track. All right. Take a look from the top. Broadcast booth area we go. Aiden Young going to get another start here. And we'll admit, Aiden Young hasn't really been the fastest out here, and not forever. Guys are definitely starting to find these, kind of the Swiss cheese defense he's putting up here on the track. But hey, right now, Aiden Young's got the lead, and let's see if he can hold it out for 15 more. Chris Schaefer says, I know exactly where that hole is. Down to the bottom he goes. Aiming for that spot. Contact already here in the back. Zach Chapman and Jacob Butcher make contact. That was bad. Chris Schaefer now dialing it back here and is now under fire by Robert Lynch. Lynch toward the bottom. These guys have been battling a good part here of tonight. Chris Schaefer and Robert Lynch knows what to do. Sends it into the turn pretty hard here. And that's one way to get heat in the tires. All right, Young, Schaefer, Lynch, 1, 2, and 3 at this point. Nathan Aldrich has fought his way up into 4th. Patrick Spangler sitting 5th. Zach Chapman battling along here with Joseph Canellis. And let's see if Preston Kramer wants to break into the top 5 here, aiming to the inside of Patrick Spangler. He does. Slight little wedge here. Patrick Spangler will have the turn exit. Woo, you see him slide just a little bit. Spangler holds it. Joseph Canellis now onto the inside of Zach Chapman here in the 72. See if that Cool Ray Chevrolet can get going here. Let's rotate our way back up to the front as Chris Schaefer still under fire here by Robert Lynch. Lynch taking the shot here toward the inside. No can doing. If there's one person happy about this battle here in the back, it's a 69 Ford in the front. The more these guys battle side by side, the more he's putting the distance. Over half a second, he's looking back at these two, kind of battling it out here. And he's got to be loving it. Definitely you see Lynch trying that more of that fresh air attack inside line, but it's not sticking here so far. Yeah, Lynch may have to put a little bit of work here on Chris Schaefer. He was trying to use those fresh tires that he had to put the moves on him, but no can do. Nathan Aldrich starting to pick up a little pace here. Use that draft, see if he can get the angle. Lynch lucky enough to get the room to slide back in. Boy, Nathan Aldrich might give him a little nudge here. .121 of Robert Lynch we're still watching here. Very aggressive on the bottom. Let's give these guys a little bit of a cool down here as we rotate back here with Gavin Chatham and Kyle Moonen. Moonen watching everything happening behind him here at this point. Jacob Butcher sliding around here a bunch. You can tell his frustration level. You see how he's jerking that wheel around. Front, top, bottom. Connection with the 99. Good job by Gavin Chatham. He's seen that move a lot here tonight. Everybody touching that back quarter panel and getting him turned around. Jackson Lomax, talk about a couple laps down here. Jackson Lomax saves it here. Say up into 12th, battling around Gary Sigelkow. Stephen Goldner sitting in that 30 Ford here. Let's see how they can do. Good gaggle of cars going on here. Here's what John Hine calls a kerfuffle. Here we go. Looks like Gary Sickle-Cow and Goldner make contact. Sickle-Cow's got to have his head on a swivel. He's got a lot of drivers around him here at this point. Matthew Robinson now toward the inside. Boy, man. Definitely starting to get the squeeze here at this point. Chris Schaefer still has Lynch behind him. Gary Sickle-Cow down on the bottom. Sean Grace, our fastest driver of the night, 27 machine, is at the top. And Gary is around. All right, Gary. Let's figure out what happened here, bud. All right. Gary Sickle-Cow's 25 Chevrolet is around. Let's kind of see what happened here from the angle. Let's take a look at it topside. I always try to get us a top angle and see what happened. Let's see if Gary rotated up. Matthew Robinson giving some room. Nothing. Boom. Yeah, just another pinch. The woes continue for Matthew Robinson in the 15 here. Let's see if we can take a shot along with Matthew Robinson here. Here comes the turn. Boink. Yikes. Yeah, not exactly the angle he wanted to be at going into this. Now, I want to keep in mind, actually, during this caution here, as we ride along with Matthew Robinson, let's watch the wheel and see if he tries to get out, or did he hold him to the bottom here. Yeah, you see he kind of nudged it just a little bit, but Matthew Robinson had somebody on the outside, so there's nowhere he really could have gone here. So, 15 truck mashed to pieces once again, so I think Matthew Robinson is out of faster pairs here. And he was unfortunately going to have to continue this way. Man, he must be tuned in. Oh, he must be tuned in as we come back live here. Looks like Matthew Robinson down pit road here at this point. Just continues. But that's okay, guys. If you want to see Matthew Robinson again, you can actually tune in on Wednesday. I'll actually see him running this first race. With the Racing Revolution League that I'm broadcasting for, so we'll see how well he does. Give a good shout out for him when he shows up there. And you'll also see him on Thursday for the Xfinity run. After Matthew Robinson looking pretty fast. I'll probably poke at him a little more, tell him his paint job's holding him up. I have a chat with Young Gun Creations, Magnum Race Designs, one of those guys, to see if I can get him a better paint scheme. Not digging it. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and get it done here. I don't know about you guys, but I think we're going to be heading to our first green-white checkered here. So the end is in sight. I think some of these drivers out here would probably agree with me and kind of say they've kind of had enough of Iowa. Definitely had enough of racing this track. This thing has been nothing but trouble for these guys. So they, unfortunately, for our Xfinity truck drivers that are going to Xfinity, they'll be doing this one more time on Thursday. After, if they choose to do the dirt with the small blocks and the 358s, and the I think the small blocks run this week for the both at Lima Land for that run. So that moves us to the following week to maybe a more favorable track, but does have another treacherous area. is actually Tim Chapman Racing. The Pickup Cup, where we're going to be heading, is actually Charlotte. We'll be heading to Charlotte of next week for the Tuesday and Xfinity Truck Xfinity Series. So the Charlotte Motor Speedway will be good for that one. That is a good turn. Definitely set up into the turn is going to determine where your exit is. And the tunnel turn along the front, a lot of miscommunications can happen there. I'm thinking of 2 other tracks that probably have that same issue. Atlanta, after the repave, that super speedway ends up with some trouble. And Texas. Texas will actually have that same kind of trouble with that kind of that tunnel turn. Everybody not really kind of communicating where to go. So, Aiden Young, Chris Schaefer, 1 and 2. That's going to bring us Robert Lynch and Nathan Aldrich, 3 and 4. So far, these guys have been pretty clean all race. But they've only got a couple more to get it done. All right, round they go out there in the chat. Matthew Robbins says there's nothing wrong with his paint job. All right, Aiden Young getting it here. Right now, Robert Lynch is going to have to send it if he wants a little more here. Maybe have a caution here. I know some cars are banging up here in the back, making contact, definitely sliding around. Patrick Spangler squeezing it here. Kyle Moonen to the bottom. Kyle Moonen sending it as hard as he can here. At this point, Kyle Moonen sitting 7th right now. Doors the 07 of Preston Cranmer. Cranmer being very patient here all night. Definitely a tangle up here so far. Aiden Young comes away with the win. Chris Schaefer 2nd, and Robert Lynch will be sitting 3rd. Aldrich in the 4th, and we are watching him sling on by. Kyle Moonen did end up getting it, putting himself into the 6th position. In front of Preston Cranmer, Patrick Spangler battles it back up into 8th. So out of all these drivers, our hard charger is Robert Lynch. Excellent job by him being the hard charger tonight for the Tim Chapman Pickup Cup. And the hard charger is brought to you by All About Tie-Dye, located in Liberty, Missouri. All About Tie-Dye is the official tie-dye of the Coast to Coast Racing League. So awesome job by our drivers out here tonight. Mashing it up here is definitely a tough one. Let's take a look at our results here. As we get this wound up, and in the process, I'm going to chase down all our fancy finishers here tonight. All right, all right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. I think we took a good look at those results there. Everybody kind of got a good show of what came into play here for this entire race. It was definitely a good run here, especially at the end. I enjoyed what I was seeing there so far from what these guys had, really had going on at this point. But 3rd place ends up as Robert Lynch. Not too shabby out of him here so far, so let's go ahead and have a chat with Robert Lynch. Robert Lynch, you got a copy on me here, bud?
I do, Patrick.
All right, man, dude. I even mentioned to people I had 3 generations on the track during Graceland. But now we rotate over to Coast, man. 3rd place finish. You were also our hard charger of the night. You made 30 positions here tonight in your Chevrolet and came out 3rd. How was the track for you?
The track was good. It just, you just had to watch out for the accidents and for the people that are getting loose because especially that bump out of 2 really threw a lot of people I was watching. So,
yeah, definitely for sure. We were kind of watching the first wreck. I think that happened on the first turn, man. Everybody coming out of 2. I saw your car way in the back come to just a complete stop and just finish, let it get over, man, because you were in the back and it's not worth firing through. I know a couple people tried, but just came up unfortunately unsuccessful to get through that whole gaggle of cars that came up on this whole run here. But Robert, I've seen you before. Is Iowa really a track you're very, very comfortable with?
Yeah, it is. I like it. It's kind of like Richmond. It's just a good track that I really feel comfortable at. So.
All right, man. Well, I'm sure some people out there would kind of lobby for a repave here, man. If this thing was a lot smoother, I think a lot more speed could be built up. Would you agree?
I would, because it'd take the bump out of 2, and it would make everything a lot smoother. And I think you'd be able to hold more speed out of 2, which would ultimately more speed for the lap time.
Oh yeah, and maybe a little more banking too. But I know they're paving the rock right now, so maybe Iowa will be in the works. Robert Lynch, 3rd place finish here tonight, man, dude. Go ahead and give me your shout outs, because this is an awesome showing by you here tonight.
Yeah. I think it's my top 3 finish in this league. I just joined this league last season. The last race season we had, and I didn't race all the races, so it's really good to be out here for the 2nd race of the season and be on a podium. Tim Chapman for putting on this race, and coast to coast for this whole league. I'm glad to be part of it. AK Racing, that's me, my son, and my grandson's team. My grandson just joined it, so now I've got, like you said, 3 generations. Simtrek Broadcasting, I'm always supporting Patrick, supporting you, brother. You do a fantastic job for my racing series with Graceland Shootout Series and this series here. So wonderful job, brother. And just thank you for the fans and everybody and all the drivers, man.
All righty, Robert Lynch, I appreciate it, bud. I love putting you in the light up here. You definitely did an awesome job here tonight, and I see you can put the work on any driver out there, man. Just keep up the good work, and I want to see you out here next Tuesday.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good one.
You too. All right, Robert Lynch, everybody, you're nailing it for our 3rd place finish. Hard charge. This moves us to Chris Schaefer, which man, he really did a great job as well here. Let's see if we can get a hold of Chris Schaefer. Chris Schaefer, you got a copy on me here, bud?
I got a copy, Patrick.
All right. I'm going to say right off the bat, finally. That has got to be the word that's got to be going through your mind at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've had some rough races, man, but I've been fast. Last week I was fast and just worked out where pit strategy, it put me behind some cars and got caught up in some stuff. So, yeah, definitely finally got a good finish again.
Yeah, well, we just from up top and looking here, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the Atlanta race. You were involved in almost 3 wrecks that you had absolutely nothing to do with, and you got taken completely out of the race. I've got people here in the chat rooting on the 23. Go Chris Schaefer, and you just keep getting totaled out, but you finally get your break here tonight for a 2nd place finish.
Yeah, definitely. Atlanta. I even got a black flag for entering pit entrance unsafely, and it's like I got wrecked,
Yeah.
So definitely I'm glad we're at some different tracks. It's not restrictor plate type tracks, so it kind of evens the field back out to where you have to do the braking and rolling.
Yeah, definitely try to shrink the tracks down. I know some guys that kind of tangles them up a little bit. You were pretty good there at the plate tracks. It's just wrong place, wrong time here, but fortunately, race control's up there, so hopefully he'll be able to wave some of those black flags and get it squared away. Out there on the track and kind of dwindling down here to the final laps here, Robert Lynch was all over you, man. How confident are you feeling about pulling away a 2nd place finish over top of him? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, Chris. No! Uh-oh. Spaghetti-O. Chris Schaefer. No. All right. I think Chris Schaefer's mic just kind of spit the bit here. All right. Hopefully we'll be able to talk back to Chris Schaefer here, and hopefully we'll be able to recontact and talk to us again. Man, I really want to hear what his shout-outs were out there. Definitely, Chris, if you can go ahead and message me, man, that way I can go ahead and get your shout-outs here. I see Getting Hooked on the side of your truck and DNT Designs. I don't know if something's going on with your mic here, brother. But hopefully we'll be back and catch up with Chris Schaefer here at the end. But that's going to rotate me to our race winner. And he goes actually a 2 for 2 here. For our broadcast here tonight. Aiden Young. Aiden Young, once again here, man. You get it again. Any doubt in your mind?
No, just had to play that pit strategy right, and came away with it.
All right, well, trying to figure out how to word this right and be nice. You got passed multiple times here tonight. Kyle Moonen kind of had your number. I believe it was the, boy, come on, brain. Sean Grace, the 27 Toyota. Man, that doesn't look like anything could stop him here. And you kind of let him go by. It didn't look like you put up too much of a fight there. How'd you stay calm through all that and still come up with the win here?
Yeah, I just knew there was a bunch of power saving I needed to do and just keep focused and let them drive away and just come back at them later in the race.
How do you know that you're going to get them, though? I mean, you're just like, it's all right, I'll get them at some point. But, really, that some point is now. You were able to push your way to the front, and you got it here. I mean, just I think what I'm trying to do here, Aiden, is get kind of the mindset of somebody who's in the lead, loses the lead, and is able to maintain strategy to come back and win it.
Yeah, that was kind of my strategy is when they went through with me, I just let them go, and I knew save my tires a little bit because later in that race when we had that 50 laps there at the halfway point, and they got a long run, and I was like, yes, this is what I wanted.
Yeah, definitely. Once it cleaned up and stopped with the cautions there, man, that's when the racing really started happening, and definitely must have played into your pocket there, man, but definitely I've talked to you a bunch here tonight, and I'm sure I'll talk to you much more during the season, but you come away with a win here, dude, and this should tie you up with Bob Light that ended up, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. What in the world am I talking about? Roland Olson, who ended up winning. Sorry, I was with Bob Light on Thursdays, which I'm sure you're going to be battling with him as well. Definitely a good showing here, but all right. Aiden Young, dude, shout-outs yet once again. Tell me a little bit about Young Gun Creations.
Just a business that I started when I was in high school and just kept it going. We do iRacing paints, race car decals for real cars, and obviously I do all my iRacing paints, and they look pretty good. And I know I do Bob the Good stuff, and everyone else's is pretty good, and just got to keep it going.
Okay, awesome. Hey, how does somebody get a hold of you if they want to get some paints done?
Yeah, they can either message me on Facebook or message me through Discord or get together with me when I'm online racing.
All right, man, dude. Awesome job here tonight, Aiden Young. Fantastic job, man. Keep up the good work. I'll got my eyes out for you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Aiden Young there got it. Got everything A-OK and squared away. Chris Schaefer still having some little bit of some mic trouble there, but hopefully he will be able to battle his way out after that from the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Appreciate everybody showing up out there. Sim Tracks as well. We appreciate everything you guys do showing up here tonight. It was definitely a run here. Aiden Young definitely had, just be able to maintain his calm, get out to the front, really just put on a great show. Aiden Young comes away with a second win, pro lates and here in the trucks. Chris Schaefer in the second. Robert Lynch came third. Nathan Aldrich in the fourth. Zach Chapman fifth. Kyle Moon in sixth. Preston Cranmer nails it in the seventh position, so not too much trouble out of him there tonight. Patrick Spangler with eighth. Gavin Chatham into ninth. And Jacob Butcher rounding out our top 10. Awesome job. Awesome. Guys, don't forget to tune in tomorrow. I know he'll be looking pretty good here so far. Let's see how it gets going here and really kind of wrap it up here right in the beginning. Let me try this one more time. Chris, you got a copy on me here one more time here, bud?
Yeah, I got a copy.
There we go. All right, good. Dude, I'm going to squeeze this in here right at the end. Give me your shout-outs, man.
Yeah, I just want to thank the boys at Turn 1 Motorsports and my boys at Inferno Motorsports. It's like a collab effort. Been running together. Getting hooked. Charters out of Cedar Key, Florida for sponsoring me. D&T Designs for the paint on the car. You guys for the broadcast every week, man. I watch it. I love you when you do it. And, and Roger and the boys over at C2C for putting on the league, man.
All right, Chris Schaefer, thanks, bud. I just want to make sure we get your shout-outs in. I know there are a lot of people out there who kind of sponsoring the car and you, so we want to make sure we get you wedged in there, bud. Great job tonight.
Thank you, man. I'll see you next week.
All right, everybody. There's Chris Schaefer. I just want to make sure we squeak him in one last time, but here we are. Signing off for tonight. Don't forget to tune in to the Hometown Heroes tomorrow. That'll be a good running and a good show for you. I know they'll be squared away for Travis Piercefield. Get the Cool Ray Hometown Heroes locked and loaded there. If you're looking for me, I'll be over at the Racing Revolution, and that'll be the final race before we head to a 2-week hiatus or holiday leave, if you'd like to call it. And then we'll we'll get that squared away. Stella and I will be in there, and we'll be rocking that one out. So, Simtrax Broadcasting, Coast to Coast Racing Network. Be well, be safe, be kind, and you know what to do, guys. I'll see you guys next time.